presentation of the Oregon Sports Network.
And Oregon is going to play in the national championship game. Big Ten champions. Big Ten champs.
National champions, yes.
Oklahoma City bound the Oregon Ducks.
Awesome day to be a Duck, man.
Boom inside. Touchdown Oregon. He gets loose. Fires. Hit. Pops the three. Oh, yeah. It's all Oregon.
This is Duck Insider. Duck Insider.
It's about how to be a group of people that know how to love each other to the absolute fullest.
Pleasure, joy to be with them each and every day, and I can't wait for the future.
It's just fun to be a part of a community that cares, that is passionate, and when we come together, powerful things can happen.
This is Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Now let's go live to the Country Financial Studio to talk Oregon Duck Athletics.
We are having some fun in studio here on a Thursday as Oregon, they just left to go on the road, the football team, to play in their first road trip of the year, the first conference game of the year against Northwestern coming up on Saturday. Early kickoff for us on the Oregon Sports Network. It will be a 9 a.m. kick televised on Fox, part of their big noon kickoff, noon Eastern, 9 a.m. for us. So start your day with some Oregon football, and if you're Jerry, Georgie, Joey, Dusty, and anyone else who is traveling to the game, but especially us here on the Oregon Sports Network, it means that your wake up is going to be very early. Sorry, guys. But that means that the second that I wake up, they'll probably already be a few segments into the pregame show, which starts at 7 a.m. Pacific time on the Oregon Sports Network. Also, if you are going to Northwestern and will be in venue for the game, we are continuing to test out our zero latency feed, a transistor radio style system from your phone. It's worked great at Autzen Stadium. We've been getting some feedback back. Want to see how it works on the road. And as has been mentioned throughout the course of this week with the media, with some of the coaches and media availabilities and online, wherever you get your online action, it's a little bit of a different look in the stadium at Northwestern with their temporary field that's on the lake that only holds about 12,000 people, which means that the zero latency feed, it should work great, because there's not very many people in the stadium, but we want to see how it works on the road. So if you're going on the road, make sure that you're listening to Jerry and Georgie on the call in live time at goducks.com/in-venue audio. Unfortunately, for all of us that are not in venue, we're not going to be able to listen to it, but if you are in venue, please do listen to it, because we want to continue to test it out, see how it continues to work, and work out all of the bugs as we continue to ramp forward through the season and have bigger and bigger games inside Autzen Stadium, and continue to see how we can improve the software and the service for the goducks.com/in-venue audio zero latency feed, where you can listen to the game in live time while it's happening. Oregon football, they'll be playing on Saturday. Oregon volleyball, it's match day today. They're on the road in Long Beach, California. They'll be playing 3 of the West Coast teams down there in Southern California. Tonight, it is going to be San Diego State on the docket at 7 p.m. There will be a game tonight, a game on Friday against San Diego State, and then a Saturday game for Trent Kirsten's squad. Unfortunately, there will not be a stream for the game tonight, so make sure that you're keeping updated on Oregon Volleyball Twitter, as well as the live stats in the link there. So make sure that you are continuing to follow along with Coach Kirsten and his squad as they continue to stay undefeated through the beginning of their season, and his first in the green and yellow, going up against San Diego State tonight. Oregon has already played a Mountain West school. Last time out, Colorado State was at Matthew Knight Arena, and Oregon took care of a very good Colorado State team in 5 sets. Today on the show is going to be a very football-centric show, and if you missed it, well, we had an exclusively football-centric show last night on Wednesday in the Oregon Coaches Show. show. And we don't normally do this on Duck Insider, but if you haven't been tuned into the Coaches Show, you absolutely should, because we get an inside look into different coaches and different players on this Oregon football team. Last night, we had Will Stein and Pancho Laululu in studio, and I thought that they had some tremendous insight into a few different things. If you haven't listened to the whole thing, it is up on Oregon YouTube, as well as you can find it on Twitter, you can find it on Facebook, so you can find your ways to get to the Oregon Football Coaches Show. But I want to take a few clips, and the first of which is an interesting path for Will Stein to get to Eugene, because Will Stein now going into and is in his third year as offensive coordinator, but he didn't actually have a relationship with Dan Lanning until 36 hours before his interview. They didn't know each other. Will Stein, he had a fantastic story talking about his journey to Eugene. He spoke about it last night. Here's the clip.
Where and when did you meet Coach Lanning?
I didn't. I knew Marshall Malco. Okay. Marshall and I worked together at Louisville in 2013.
Oh, okay.
It was my first year as a GA, and then it was maybe his first or second year in college football as a recruiting guy. And I was just at UTSA. We were about to play in the Conference USA Championship game. It was like a Friday night game. This is 2022. And I was just kind of catching up with Marshall on the phone, and Dillingham had left. And I was like, you guys, I don't know why you guys haven't called me yet, man. Like, come on, like, we're boys. Like, we got like a top 10 offense here at UTSA. I was just kind of giving him shooting the bull with him a little bit. He goes, you know what? I don't know why we haven't. Let me tell Dan. Let's get you an interview. Next thing I know, we put up like 51 points or 50-something points in the Conference USA title game, beat North Texas. Interviewed with Dan the next day. The following day, he asked me if I wanted to be a Duck. It was like that quick.
Oh, man.
No agent, no nothing. It was Marshall.
Wow.
Marshall. And very thankful for Marshall for getting my name to Dan. And I'm just thankful that Dan gave me this opportunity, because, what an opportunity. It's a lifetime opportunity that not a lot of people get. And when you get something like this, you got to take it and you got to make the most of it.
If you don't know, Marshall Malco, Oregon football chief of staff, in charge of a lot of things around the Oregon football program. You've probably seen him cameo in the Under Construction series throughout the preseason, maybe a little bit in the Ducks versus Them series. We've had him on the program a few times on our various different shows, whether it be for signing days or on a coach's show or a Duck Insider here and there since he's been here. But the relationships of Will Stein and Marshall Malco and the success that Will Stein had at UTSA, it gained the respect of Coach Lanning, and all of a sudden Will Stein's here and Oregon has an elite offense that is led by the quarterback in Dante Moore. But as you may have heard Coach Stein say yesterday, if you listen to the Coach's Show, there's two guys who touch the ball on every play. Dante Moore is one of them, but Pancho Laululu is also another one of them, and he last week was part of the uniform reveal for Oregon football, and I thought that the Oregon video team did a great job in how they displayed the new uniform for the game going into the Oklahoma State game, because Pancho, with his Polynesian roots, was playing the ukulele in front of the waterfall at Autzen Stadium, and I thought this was a fantastic story tying in Pancho and his upbringing and his culture in with the Oregon football culture, and how the creative team was able to bring that all together to bring the uniforms to you last week. Here's a clip of Pancho.
So last week also, we talked about this a lot last week, and your love of music. Mm-hmm. So I know everyone has seen it. We're going to play it again. So now you got to tell us a little bit about the uniform shoot and what you were doing here.
Oh. Yeah. Now that's, Dave, when you talk about how we're kind of like the ugly guys, that guy's not ugly.
No.
He's
far
handsome,
from
man.
it. Look at that. Look at this. Just the magic. The magic.
It's funny because, man, I don't know. Hey, shout out to the theater people. They did a great job. The people who did this, working with them was awesome. Steve and all those guys that did a great job of making sure our stuff looks nice.
Well, looks nice, but also you hear the water in the background.
And you hear the ukulele playing.
And you just hear this music.
Yeah. Getting that sense of, of Hawaii and Eugene. I like to say, whenever it's a beautiful day, I just remind myself it's a beautiful day in Eugene Day.
That's right.
It's a phrase that we use in Hawaii.
I like it.
I mean, during that photo shoot, that video in there, I was just like playing a song. Some of us would know back home. It's like a jam. We call it a jam session. Like sometimes, like I was talking about earlier, like me and the boys, sometimes after practice or like during the summer, we come home. We just like to kick back with the guys and just kick back, play some uke, play the guitar too, sing, or just be in the back of one of the boys' houses and, play some games as well. Just building connection, not being so focused on the phone and social media. We were out, just hanging out. And, just building a connection. And sometimes, depending where we're at, whether it's at my house or my other friend's house, like our parents would sometimes see all of us in the back and they always ask, like, do you guys want to eat? So, that's where it kind of came from, too. We talk about connection over here. So that's what kind of came with me when I came to the University of Oregon.
Well, it's just so fun to see, at least for me, like all the different personalities and histories that you all have that come together. I mean, I know that's something that you really value, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I just love being able to, get to know people. Like you talk about, like a lot of people don't know because we're under the helmet all day. But when you get to know a person, you know their why and what drives them every single day. And then, you can push them every single day, when adversity hits. Like, hey, man, remember what you told me about this? Like, you got to continue just to push strong. In this life, it's going to be hard. Nobody said it's going to be easy. Even in this game of football, Coach Lanning reminds us. But, you just got to remember, like, when adversity comes, like, what are you going to answer back with? Are you going to answer back with being, complacent or, like, being okay with it? Or are you just going to attack it every single day and learn from it?
That was a clip from Poncho on our Oregon Coaches Show. If you haven't tuned into the Oregon Coaches Show, you can. Every Wednesday night, we're live here in studio with a coach and an Oregon football student-athlete, 7 o'clock every Wednesday to 8 o'clock every Wednesday. You can also go back on the Go Ducks YouTube, on the Oregon Football Facebook, on the Oregon Football Twitter. You can go back and watch if you didn't catch it in live time because it really fun. And I loved when Poncho was talking about the connection that he brought in his upbringing. And, well, of course, the 4 character traits for Coach Lanning, one of them, and maybe one of the biggest ones, is the connection piece with this team. And to have somebody that's so rooted in connection with his upbringing and his home back in Hawaii, to bring that in, it feels comfortable to be part of a team that is so strictly rooted in the connection with your brothers, with the rest of your teammates. For me, it was really cool to see that Poncho now continuing to step up as a leader on this Oregon football team doesn't have to necessarily change to embrace that connection because it's part of his personality. It's part of who he is. And that's what really stuck out to me talking to him on the Coach's Show last night. There's so many more great clips, great stuff from Coach Will Stein as well as Poncho on the Coach's Show from yesterday. Please go check it out if you haven't already. And, well, we actually have a little more Poncho to talk about as well because not only did Poncho join us on the Coach's Show last night, he also joined the media on the podium after practice yesterday. A little bit more game focused, a little bit more Northwestern focused as Poncho is continuing to lead this offensive line into the first Big Ten game of the season, the first road trip of the season as Oregon will play at 9 a.m. on Saturday. Here's Poncho after practice yesterday.
We talked up in the lead up to the season just about all the newness on the offensive line, and through 2 weeks at least, it looks really good. Kind of what's worked and who I guess deserves responsibility and credit for all of that.
First and foremost, just want to thank my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. But to answer that question, I think it really pays homage to our coaches. Shout out to Coach Terry and we got like multiple offensive line coaches who does a great job of making sure that we're developing on and off the field. They do a great job. Coach Terry, I really love. He's very young in the game, one of the youngest O-lineman coaches in the country. And the way he interacts with us and kind of makes sure that we're on point with everything is awesome. He brings energy all the time, every day to practice. So just seeing when you see like your leader and your coach like bringing it every single day, that kind of gives us the fire to continue to develop and be better every single day.
What's been the growth process with you and Dante, and understanding your checks and knowing when he sees it, and you don't have to maybe acknowledge or vice versa? Me
and Dante, we built connection. It's been good lately. Obviously you guys see how we've been doing, how Dante's been playing. We just been just being elite with the basics. Just sticking to the basics and to the routines. Just know what our checks is for that week or the team we're playing. And Dante does a great job of communicating all the time. Like, he's very vocal. He's confident. Like, when he sees something, or if I see something, I'm gonna alert him. And if he sees it, and if it's not what they're bringing or something, then he's just, nah, we're good. He knows what it is because he can see everything on the defense.
You spoke about Coach Terry earlier, and so what I've heard is that he actually gets into blocking drills and he has you guys block him.
Mm-hmm.
Can you speak to the truth of that?
Yeah, he does. Like sometimes he'll hold shield backs for us, making sure that we're hitting the right point of contact and making sure we're doing the right technique. Like he gets in with us, like I say, like he's a very young coach. He's not the type of one to just sit on the side. No, he actually get in and like do it with us sometimes. Even some of the running stuff that we do, and we do like high speed go drill stuff, like just to make sure that we're hitting our high speed every week. Like today, Coach Terry, all the coaches, like they all run with us. And it's awesome to see. Like I say, it brings a lot of drive and fire, knowing that your leader is right there doing it with you and you're not alone.
Kind of going back to the first question, just about the success you guys have had. 0 sacks, obviously allowed, only 3 TFLs. Do you guys kind of take the success that you guys have had over the first 2 games as kind of a badge and honor? And despite the successes, where else do you feel like the line can still maybe improve, despite the success you guys have seen so much?
Yeah, man. I mean, despite the success, I feel like we can get better in everything every day. There's new things that we figure out. Coach Stein likes to say we're not gonna have a perfect game. Though we strive to have a perfect game, at the end of the day, there's gonna be some stuff that we wish we could take back, and we can call a different play. But for the offensive line, like I feel like there is some things that we're still working on, whether it's technique, communication, being on the same point, and just training. But like you said, that badge of honor, yeah, it's nice. But we just focus on the team we got ahead right now.
9 a.m. kick. We've had some players tell us they're getting in early and kind of getting prepared for this earlier kickoff. Dan said that, you guys practice at this time all the time, so you're prepared. How have you kind of looked at this new challenge and gotten yourself ready?
Just doing what I do every single day, just sticking to my routine. At the end of the day, whenever, to me, like the coaches like to say, we make practice very hard so the game comes easy. So, I appreciate Coach Dan for just making practice hard for us every single day up to a point when we get to that point on Saturdays, like, it's, we've been doing it for the whole week, so we should have no fear. We've been preparing, just trusting the process every single day. And like I said, we got great coaches who develops us every single day and does a great job making sure that we're prepared for the team we're playing.
You and Emanuel seem to be really dialed in there together. In just a short amount of time, have you been able to, communicate and pass off those stunts and twists from the D-line games and work together to, be able to keep Dante clean?
Yeah, man. I love Emanuel. I love all my guys right next to me. One thing I really love is that we all can trust each other, and I'm playing right next to each other. We're all going to get our job done. And, Eman, like you said, passing off them games, we communicate loud. We want to make sure that, even if the defense knows, like, we know they're bringing something, we're going to let them know that we're going to stop it regardless. We're going to, like Eman said in an interview the other day, we want to make sure that 5 stay clean.
It's a unique setting, Pancho, with the lakefront stadium and a small stadium, and unique for a lot of people, but I certainly understand that there's a lot of Hawaii football stadiums that are obviously oceanfront.
Yeah.
How many of them did you play in, and is there anything unique about playing in that kind of a setting?
Obviously Hawaii and Chicago is different. Hawaii, you got like those beautiful palm trees. You see the beautiful sunny right above you, just feeling that beautiful breeze. I don't know how it is out in Chicago. It's actually gonna be one of my first times down there. But it's nice. I played in a couple of schools that has like oceans right next to it. It's beautiful just being able to feel that breeze coming from the ocean and the water and stuff like that. So probably might give me a sense of home in a little bit. Just being right next to the water, knowing that, it's like home, but not really home.
With that unique setting and how small the stadium is compared to Austin, you won't have a crowd to generate energy. How do you attack kind of creating your own juice, as Lenny likes to say?
I know that's a good. That's one of our motto for offensive line, and this whole week is bring our own juice. We just kind of like celebrate with each other. Whether you have success or whether you have some hardships throughout the game, you just want to celebrate and lift up your brothers at any time. Just be there for them and just continue to lift them up and encourage them.
Plays like that flea flicker screen pass to Gary. How fun is that for you when you get to be out there with the entire offensive line running downfield trying to hit people?
It's fun. I wish we scored. We've been waiting to run that play that whole week. And the moment we got it, it was something we want. Had the numbers out there. But I was telling Gary, next time you got to be vocal and let us know where to go. But it was fun. I really love it, though.
When you guys are reviewing tape of the games that you just played, how is that different through 2 weeks compared to the first 2 weeks last year? Like, just how is the vibe in the room different, and how is approaching tape when there's way less obvious instances of things that need to be cleaned up like last season?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, we don't like to talk about our team last year. Obviously, we just learned from that. Me, especially because me being on that team with our offensive line, I take into consideration just being able to build every single day and to learn from those mistakes. And one of our main things coming into week one, Coach Lanning, he had this shirt about like how many yards per carry we had that week, and he wore it this year and kind of gave me like some fire, like, all right, babe, we're gonna bring it, and we just did our job, just when everybody's on the same page and just sticking to our process and doing what we've been doing for the whole fall camp and the whole year and just being, prepared, everything's going to unfold.
Amari came in at the same time and I'm sure have had a lot of practice battles.
Yeah.
Where have you seen the growth from him, I guess, just from when you guys first got here to now?
I mean, one of the biggest growth I've seen in Amari is like he started to be vocal. That's me and him. Obviously, we came in both young. We weren't as vocal, but just seeing Amari talk now, seeing him lead the front all the time, like I remind Amari every time, like when he's, obviously in the game, you're going to get tired at some point in the game. I just like to remind Amari, like, the defense is not going to depend on obviously it depends on the linebacker and everybody doing the job. But if the front four, you guys are not doing that job and we're not going to get it. Same for the offensive line. I kind of hold that same standard for them. Like, let them know, like, hey, this team's going to go as much as we do. As much as we go, the fire and the energy that we bring, this whole team's going to follow us.
You love that leadership from Poncho, directing the offense, but it translates over to everybody on the football team, especially when you're going up against the defensive side of the ball day after day after day in practice. We just heard from the center. Sliding over to the guard when we return on Duck Insider. We're hearing from more on the Oregon offensive line on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Dear Truckin' Awesome, Toyota Tundra's got heart-pounding horsepower. Tacoma is one rugged ride, and the 4Runner is tough as nails. Truck yeah. Find yours at Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by one of your local branches today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
Dear Truckin' Awesome, Toyota Tundra's got heart-pounding horsepower. Tacoma is one rugged ride, and the 4Runner is tough as nails. Truck yeah. Find yours at Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
This is Duck Insider, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
There's danger out there. It lurks on highways and quiet neighborhood streets. It's more likely to kill you than a shark and more terrifying than the biggest snake. Distracted driving claims lives every day. Every notification, swipe, social post, video, or selfie while driving risks your life. So while you might think public speaking or the zombie apocalypse is scary, what's really terrifying and even deadly is distracted driving. Eyes forward. Don't drive distracted. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
We asked parents who adopted teens to share their journey.
If you build a relationship, then it becomes easier. If you build trust, it becomes easier. As a parent, you want what's best for your child. To give them the love that a child needs is probably the best you can do for a teenager.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. Visit adoptuskids.org to learn more. A message brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
We're back inside the Country Financial Studio. It's Duck Insider, brought to you by OnPoint Community Credit Union. We just heard from Panchi La'aulu, and we're also now going to hear from his counterpart right next to him on the offensive line, continuing to protect the quarterback in Dante Moore, as well as open up offense in the run game. Emanuel Pregnon has been a new addition and a transfer into this offensive line, continuing to thrive on the offense. Hearing more from the Oregon offensive line and Emanuel Pregnon after practice.
How fun is it getting upfield and knocking guys around in this offense and just kind of, not just you, but the whole offensive line and the buy-in to do that?
Well, in general, playing football is fun, so
just being able to, get down there with the whole five, a whole four. It's dope. It makes me feel like, like a child and we all playing tag down the field or something. I don't know.
We've seen counter be one of Coach Stein's favorite run calls on the season, and on Saturday you helped break a big one for Noah on the first play of the game. You helped break a big one for Jaden. What do you like about running that play, and what makes it effective for this team?
I believe counter is a play that offensively, the way I think about it is as a tone setter, right? You have to be able to, as a guard or just as an offensive lineman, that's a play that really you have to mentally say, I'm going to set the tone here, for the entire game, for how, dominant, physical, and at the point of attack that we're going to be, and really set the tone to let the defense know essentially how you coming.
Northwestern's head coach was really complimentary of the offensive line's group collectively. No sacks allowed, hardly any pressures, with so many new faces. How do you feel like you guys have become so cohesive so quickly?
Everybody, I'll say this, as far as the egos, we all put our egos to the side. We all treat each other as brothers and as family. And, when you have family, you can talk through things. You can, you work as a unit. So everything becomes cohesive and everybody is cooperative because we're all fixated on one goal. And that's winning and keeping our quarterback clean.
Not sure how many games in your career you've played at 9 a.m. body clock, but what goes into the preparation for that and getting yourself ready mentally and physically to be prepared for that time?
I believe it's just like the emphasis, Coach has been leaving with us this week is being a fire starter. And what that means to me is starting early, starting fast. So in practices like these, whatever we have, shoot. It's the first rep of Indy. You got to start fast. You got to come off that rock. And, as far as the mentality that you're coming with, you want to think like start fast so you can build now. That's how I'm thinking about, preparing for such an early game like that. So when I come out on Saturday at 9 a.m., I'm punching somebody in the mouth right from the jump.
You guys are also going to be playing in a fairly small stadium, I think 12,000 people. How does that change the way you prepare, the way you approach a game when you know that it's not probably going to be all that loud?
Changes nothing. The preparation is the same. The preparation is the same for me. I believe it's the same for us all. We practice the same. We prepare the same. And, given that they don't have as much fans or stadium capacity, it doesn't really change the way how we prepare. We still attack everything the same.
You guys clearly have a lot of really good running backs, but I'm curious about your impressions of Jaden Lamar as a running back and as a teammate.
Oh, yeah, Jaden Lamar, he's a dope dude, man. I can remember when I had first got here and I had got into workouts and I was trying to get myself acclimated, just trying to transition. And then he was one of the first guys to help me, by pointing me in the direction of, people in the area that could help me out with my body. So, from the places that I've been at, it's not a lot of people that's telling you, where to go fix your body at or help fix your body rather than them telling you, like, go mess your body up. Y'all know what I mean. But
You guys are going to be traveling here a lot more in the coming weeks, and I'm just curious for somebody who is your size, what's it like traveling on an airplane? And is there like how do you go about picking, like, where do you sit?
Yeah, man, I don't know about y'all, but I'm a aisle guy. That leg room, I will fight anybody for that leg room. But yeah, just traveling. I just try to to be comfortable. I just try to get an aisle seat and try to reason with the people on the plane because it is kind of difficult. Being a bigger guy and having to sit in a seat in between or sit in the window seat because it's just so tight.
First time on the road this season. Talk about the conversations that coaches are having leading up to the big game.
Like I said earlier, conversations that we're having is, starting early. Like I said before, from the jump, being a fire starter, it's really setting the tone now. So that's the way I feel like that mentally that they're instilling within us. So physically, that's how we're preparing on the field in practice, and that's what we're going to continue to reiterate throughout the week and throughout practice, throughout the reps and everything for that matter.
Even after 2 dominant first weeks, where does this offensive line room still have room to grow?
Shoot. In the game of football, to me, you've never made it. So, especially with us, I gotta give respect where it's due as one of the best units that I've been around. So, essentially, what I'm trying to say is that the sky is the limit. So, the things I feel like we can get better at is just our consistency in our play, and really, it can be in what's the word I'm looking for? Imperative at times. I think I'm using the right word, but just keeping our technique and keeping our technique and keeping our assignment and being fixated on those things, I feel like will essentially take care of itself. But I feel like those are things that we can always stay keen on and continually make a mental mark to stay focused on those things so that we continue to progress incrementally, as football players and in a game of O-line.
That's Emanuel Pregnon breaking down Oregon's offensive line, and as we speak, he is currently fighting for that legroom as Oregon football left to the airport about an hour ago. So right now, boarding the plane, and then Oregon will touch down in Chicago later tonight ahead of what is going to be an early morning kick on Saturday. The Ducks are about to fly, but in the back end of the defense, they want it to be a no-fly zone. Hearing from some of Oregon's defensive backs when we return after this on Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by one of your local branches today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
When life blindsides you with an injury, you need a team that's tough. For over 30 years, Morgan & Morgan has been fighting for the people. This season, we're proud to partner with Oregon Athletics. Because whether it's on the field or in the courtroom, we're both determined to do what it takes to win. Morgan & Morgan, proud partner of Oregon Athletics. Injured? Dial pound law. Morgan & Morgan, 10150 Southwest 6th Avenue, Portland. Prior results do not guarantee a similar outcome.
Back to the Country Financial Studios in 60 seconds. This is Duck Insider from Learfield.
You say you never give in to a meltdown and never fill your feed with kid photos. You say you'd never put a pacifier in your mouth to clean it, and never let them run wild through the grocery store. So when you say you'd never let them get into a car without you there, no, it can happen. 1 in 4 hot car deaths happen when a kid gets into an unlocked car and can't get out. Never happens. Before you leave the car, always stop, look, lock. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Let's take a moment to breathe. Deep inhale. Extend your spine. Remain focused on what you're doing. If safe to do so, exhale slowly, leaning to one side. Inhale back to center. If safe to do so, exhale slowly to the opposite side. Find mental health resources at loveyourmindtoday.org. This message is brought to you by the Huntsman Mental Health Institute and the Ad Council.
Back inside the Country Financial Studio, it is Duck Insider, brought to you by OnPoint Community Credit Union. Ryan Milano with you here on a Thursday as Oregon football preparing for the first road trip against Northwestern. Heard a lot from the offensive line early in the show. Now the defensive backs. Iffy Obedu, he's had a strong start to the season. He's made quite an impression throughout fall camp. One of the younger guys in this defensive back room, but Iffy Obedu has risen to the challenge. Getting to hear from Oregon's DB, Iffy Obedu, after practice 2 days ago.
What's allowed you to be just so successful so early into the season and earning that starting role?
I'll probably just say just keep my head down working. You know, just trying to master the playbook, all the coverage checks, the adjustments, you know, just taking it one day at a time, 1% every day at practice is getting better, just competing, going hard. You know what I'm saying? That's what I say.
Not sure how many 9 a.m. kicks you've had in your lifetime, but what do you do mentally to prepare yourself and physically to get yourself ready that early in the morning?
Yeah, I mean, Coach Hamp and Coach Adu, they've been telling us, like, it's going to be 9 a.m. our time, so, you know, we got to get the rest, going to sleep early now, waking up early, because today we actually woke up, the whole DB Corps woke up at 5. We got here at 5, so we all woke up around 4. That's the time we're going to be waking up anytime, like, anyway, like, when that day comes. So we just mentally preparing ourselves, like, throughout the week, get our preparation, like, you know, for the game. But, yeah.
When you have a coverage bust like the one that did lead to their only field goal on Saturday, what's the conversation like afterwards within the DB room and within your other corners to make sure you guys are communicating stuff to not let that happen again?
Yeah, it's just, you know, we got iPads on the sideline, so we see what happens. We can always go to the sideline and fix it. You know, never want to get too high or too low. So it's nothing like we can't fix. So like we see what happened, know what to do next time, and we keep it pushing. We gotta finish the game. So yeah.
Kind of along the same lines, so much youth there in the secondary. What's it kind of like growing with Brandon? I'm curious if you and Brandon had much of a relationship coming in since you're from the same part of the country.
Oh yeah, Brandon, that's my guy. Yeah, we always getting the extra work. You know, we definitely tapped in back at home too, for sure. But you know, yeah, it's fun growing up. You know, this our first time together, so we just learning together. We're growing together. You know, and we just happy for each other when we make each other make plays and stuff like that. So it's great.
We always talk to receivers when they make a great catch in the corner of the end zone, what that feeling's like. What's the feeling like defending a D2 All-American and being challenged in the end zone and breaking up a play like that and not allowing that on your end?
Oh yeah, it was a good feeling for sure. You know, just had to keep my head down and keep working.
We've heard a lot about how just impressive your development was last year, even when you weren't able to be on the field. What was the things that you were doing last year, like, you know, in the film room and stuff like that, to be able to improve, you know, when you're not actually out there? And how have you felt those apply early on in terms of just being a smarter player on the football field?
Yeah, I would probably just say just taking the time, watching extra film, you know, just getting extra work, you know, coming out, like going hard at practice, you know what I'm saying, just doing the little things right, you know, looking at the little details, I would say, and just doing going the extra mile.
There's been a lot of praise towards the receivers of this team and they're blocking on the perimeter. Someone that goes up against them every day and through fall camp. Was that something that you could see early on that, hey, this is going to be different this year, or what can you speak about their ability to block?
Oh yeah, the receivers, yeah, they coach, you know, they coach Ross. He always they preach like if you don't block, you don't get the rock. So you know they always go hard and make sure they blocking, I mean, they selling out for the team. You know, that just goes to show our connection with our team. You know, everybody wants to see everybody eat, so they gonna go hard for the man next to them. So yeah, I've been seeing that a lot from them at practice too. That they bring it every time too, for sure.
For this week, what do you see from their wide receiver number 17? Just what makes him unique, or what might make him a challenge?
Yeah, he's the wide receiver. He's a good route runner, big size, about, you know, good. He's their go-to target for sure. Likes to get in space, you know. He has a great yards at the catch too. So yeah, he's a great player, for sure.
Is there any pressure to go undefeated in the conference again, or like maybe like an expectation that you guys have to repeat?
I wouldn't say it's no pressure, because, you know, we're not looking like ahead of time or anything like that. Like for the end of the season, like where we are just living in the moment now. We going 1-0 every week, so we just handling one game at a time, and we just trying to go 1-0 every week, day by day.
I'm going to follow up on the Brandon part again. Did you guys have like a relationship before you got to Oregon at all? Just being from the same part of the country.
Yeah, I knew about him for sure, but we never really like knew each other like that, like super. But yeah, I definitely like knew him a few, like heard of him and stuff like that when we was back there. Yeah, for sure.
What stands out about their quarterback? Obviously, two really different performances from him so far this season, where, you know, several interceptions against Tulane, but had a much better game last week. Just what stands out about him and his play?
Yeah, the quarterback. Yeah, he you know, goes through his reads well. Got a nice size arm, so, you know, likes to get the ball at 17. But yeah, he's a good player. So we just studying him, get ready for him.
That's Iffy Obedu, and I think it's really cool to hear about two defensive backs from basically the same part of the country that have now traveled all the way across the country to come to Oregon. It's a real testament in the recruiting that Oregon is able to do, and how the Ducks are able to acquire talent, because Maryland, pretty far away from Eugene. Coaching staff doing a great job in not only getting the best talent from around the country, but also when there's two really talented players from the same spot, that doesn't mean that they can't both come to Oregon. And now Brandon Finney and Iffy Obedu, maybe the two best young corners from the Baltimore DMV type of area, now both playing cornerback for Oregon and on opposite sides of the football. It's pretty cool to see that level of connection from coast to coast now here playing in Eugene. Also, Oregon not only with young talent in the defensive back room, but also with a few transfers in the defensive back room. A guy like Theron Johnson, who will be going up against his old team this week in Northwestern, but also somebody who has had experience with some of the other schools in the Big Ten. Dillon Theamman, he's played against all of these schools in conference. He's been at Purdue for a few years now. Well, now he's here at Oregon, and he's leading the Ducks back end of the defensive secondary. We're hearing from Dillon Theamman after this when we return more from the Oregon defensive backfield on Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
At Shadow Hills Country Club, we're more than just an award-winning golf course and practice facility. Our events team offers all-inclusive event pricing that allows us to take care of all the details while you enjoy your event. Our indoor and outdoor venues offer you a wide variety of fully staffed options that put the focus on you. From weddings to business and social events, at Shadow Hills Country Club Events Center, you get the benefits of a resort atmosphere and amenities in a peaceful country setting, just minutes from downtown Eugene. Call for a tour today or visit shadowhillsevents.com.
Hey Duck fans, at Country Financial, they make insurance easy. Whether you're shopping for home, auto, or more, their representatives will take the time to understand your specific needs and explain what options work best for you. Worry less and feel more confident knowing you're covered. Visit countryfinancial.com to get started today. Experience more with Country Financial.
Auto and home insurance policies issued by Country Mutual Insurance Company, Country Preferred Insurance Company, and Country Casualty Insurance Company, Bloomington, Illinois.
More Duck Insider coming up on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Put your phone on D&D. That means that do not disturb when you're driving. And when you're going from point A to B, I need you to stay safe, please, so always sing with me. So put your phone on D&D. That means that do not disturb when you're driving. And when you're going from point A to B, I need you to stay safe, please, so always remember this beat.
Don't drive distracted. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
We asked parents who adopted teens to share their journey.
When I met both of them, it was like my missing pieces were found. Like it was just like an instant, these are my kids. If you're considering adopting a teen, just do it. Kids need families. I don't care the age, everybody deserves a family.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. Visit adoptuskids.org to learn more. A message brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
We're back on Duck Insider in the Country Financial Studio. It's Ryan Milano with you as we continue to break down Oregon football moving forward this week into conference play against Northwestern on the road. The team is already in transport to go to the temporary stadium that Northwestern has on the lake there in Evanston, Illinois, as they build their new football facility, which is going to be great once it's completed. But now it's a little bit of a high school style feel, which I think I am really excited to see. I wish I could play in that type of atmosphere where it's not quite Autzen Stadium and the atmosphere that's here, but it's also not necessarily like a high school venue either. It's like a Texas high school venue where you got the big grandstands. I'm really excited to see how the environment's going to shape out here on Saturday. And someone who I think will make a pretty big impact is Dillon Theamman, somebody who can get involved in the run game and the pass game, has been put at so many different spots. He's very versatile for this Oregon defense. He's proven that over the first few weeks, getting to hear from the Oregon defensive back Dillon Theamman.
If you said that the DB room is getting here at 5 a.m. as someone who notoriously usually gets here around that time, what has this week been like for you as you prepare for a 9 a.m. kick?
Just to make sure to keep grinding day in, day out. Like, our past success doesn't determine our future. So just staying to the routine, staying to the schedule, doing what we need to do.
What will it be like for you playing against Coach O'Brien, and what did you learn from him over the 2 years you got to play with him?
I'm excited to play against him. A little bit texting back and forth. None this week. No, I don't want to text him this week. But I think just coming in, he kind of just taught me like kind of what to look for. Being back in the post, like analyzing the QB, doing this, doing that, and then I think I'll be excited to play against him now.
Lately, you and Kingston have been coming up at different times, kind of right behind the linebackers, a little bit shorter than a normal safety depth. How does that make you? What's the advantage for you at that position? And I guess also what makes you and Kingston interchangeable, because you guys both have done that.
I feel like just as a safety group, we're really versatile, so we can play a lot of positions. King's more of a bigger guy. He's like 6'4", so he can move around. He can do a lot, and when we get in the box, I feel like we can play fast. We can play free because we know we got some dogs up front that are gonna fight for us.
You guys have a lot of really good running backs, clearly, but I'm curious, as a defensive player, what's your impressions of Jaden Lamar?
Physical player, hard runner, comes in every day. He grinds. He's got his own routine. He's a very, very consistent guy, and I like going against him in practice. I feel like we make each other better.
As you talked about moving around more and stuff on defense, we saw some 3 safety looks from you guys this weekend. What do you guys feel like that gives you an advantage out there?
I feel like it gives us advantages to play a lot of different coverages, move to different spots, kind of confuse the offense. Like I feel like they're not going to know what we're going to be doing because we can move, we can call so many different coverages and put us like better spots to play either the run or the pass, or depending on the situation.
When you transfer to a school, how does that change your hierarchy for where you get a pick to sit on the plane? And how have you kind of throughout your career, how have you just kind of prepared your body for longer trips like that?
I don't think we get to pick. I think they just like, you're sitting here, and I'll be like, all right. And then the second one was just about...
just for longer trips, is there anything that you have to do to kind of prepare your body or, just so you're feeling right coming off of a plane?
I feel like just staying active, make sure to probably like stretch afterwards. I know like when you get up there, you can get some swelling in your legs and stuff. So make sure to just work that out and stress that like it's a business trip. Like you're not just going on a trip to go on a trip. Like you're going on a trip to go win a game.
As an older guy in the room, what have you seen from some of the younger guys across these 2 weeks that may have surprised you or you just thought was impressive?
I feel like I've just seen a lot of growth overall. Guys feeling more comfortable in the positions with Aaron out there, with Iffy, with Brandon coming in as a freshman, getting out there. I know stuff can be fast, like the balls can be flying, but I feel like we've adapted. Like a lot of the new guys are like stepping up.
I think you played these guys last year.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, they struggled on offense a lot last year, and I know it's a small sample size with just 2 games, but how do they look different this year on tape?
They got a lot of different guys coming in, so it's not the same guys. We got a different quarterback, different wide receivers. I know they've gotten some transfers, different tight ends, but I think it will be a lot of similar looks that we can play against. Maybe I'll recognize when I'm out there and stuff. I'm like watching film. I've been able to see some stuff that's been carrying over from last year.
Kind of following with that, just what stands out about their quarterback?
Where does this go?
On the internet.
Okay. All right. I know he's a transfer coming in, so they've had a kind of a rough start with that first game, but then they've been able to have some success there with the second game. So I'm just curious how he'll come out. We just need to be prepared for different things that they might do. Maybe some trick plays that they come out, just read our keys and stay in our coverages.
Those young guys in the safety room, like Aaron and Peyton, have talked about how important you've been as a communicator back there. How have you seen your kind of influence rub off on them and them communicating more on the backside since you've been here?
I feel like just guys are asking a lot more questions. The safeties are talking between themselves and then talking with the corners, like trying to get our sides lined up and then communicate with the other safety, be like, hey, we're playing this over here. This is what we got on this side, so we know what we got on each side. So like in a certain coverage, we might have help backside, so we can maybe let one go. If not, we gotta take it over, or maybe we can help that side if kind of numbers line out. I know that's probably not the best explanation, but a lot of communication between each other, and then I feel like just recognizing patterns, recognizing what the offense is trying to do in certain formations.
I saw after the game, Kenny was able to get Peyton his pick 6 ball that afterwards, and I'm just curious, like, one, what's it like seeing a guy like that have kind of like that proof of like I can do this, and what was that for you in your career?
I say it's awesome Peyton got a pick. I was so happy. We're all running on the field, and I'm like, yo, we're probably going to get a flag or something. But that's awesome. He got the ball. He got to he made a great play. He was just going out there being a football player. Maybe that might not have been his like play to make, but he was just there. And then my moment, I think, was just my first game. I had a deep ball, middle of field like pick, and it was just like, oh, this is real. Like I can do this. So kind of the same thing.
As someone who started as a freshman, can you kind of relate to the situation maybe a Brandon or some of these younger guys are in, and what have you kind of seen from him that's different from your experience coming in right away?
Yeah, I can definitely relate to him. It can definitely be fast. I know practice is one thing, but it's hard to replicate a game in practice. I feel like we do a really good job here of making practice almost harder than the games.
That's Dillon Theamman breaking down Oregon in the defensive backfield before they travel to play Northwestern. When we come back on Duck Insider, breaking down where Oregon Volleyball is tonight and some Oregon golf from earlier in the week. Coming back on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by one of your local branches today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
We know you turn to the Duck Store for all your game day needs. And for students at the University of Oregon, it's even more. Class supplies, jobs, a seat on our board, a place to take a quick coffee break. Because we're your student-first, non-profit college store, every purchase you make directly supports the very community we serve. From working in our counters to studying in the classroom, from directing our stores to cheering in the stands, the people we serve, the students, are the very people who are the Duck Store.
Duck Insider, your home for the latest news on Oregon athletics on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
My name is Teresa Barber. I was in the United States Navy and I served overseas in the Middle East and Africa. Early on in my career, I had a commander that taught our suicide prevention training, and the very next day he took his own life. 90% of suicide attempts involving a gun are fatal. My way of continuing my service is to help protect my community by being a responsible gun owner and by storing firearms safely. Store all your guns securely. Help stop suicide.
Brought to you by End Family Fire and the Ad Council.
This message is for Shauna, my mom who just finished her high school diploma. I wanted to say I'm so proud of you for finishing school. You taught me it's never too late to achieve your dreams. I hope to make you as proud as you have made me.
When you graduate, they graduate. Finish your high school diploma for you and for them. Visit finishyourdiploma.org to find free and supportive adult education centers near you. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
Back inside the Country Financial Studio, it's Duck Insider, brought to you by OnPoint Community Credit Union. Closing up the show here on a Thursday. Oregon Volleyball in action tonight down in Southern California. It's match day. They'll play San Diego State at 7 p.m. Also, Oregon Women's Golf closed up their first match of this fall campaign as they had a tremendous finish in the final round of the Annika Intercollegiate with a 16-under round to move up 4 spots in the standings and finish in second place in a loaded 12-team field. The Wake Forest won at 8 under, but then Oregon came in second at 5 under and jumped number 4th ranked USC, number 3 ranked Texas, and number 10 Northwestern. Kiara Romero had a tremendous final round, and Coach Radley said he is super proud of the effort yesterday from Oregon Women's Golf. Oregon Volleyball in action tonight. Don't worry, guys are on the road, but we still have picks tomorrow. See you, go Ducks.